Here we are. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Don't know if I'm as well prepared tonight as I should be. So be it. You all are going to help me anyway, so it's okay. Maybe it's time for me to take another weekend break. Let me think on that. Okay. Roughly. Okay, so center circle. Okay. And I thought let's use a change of words here. Situation reps for the center. Character will rep for the center. See if I can say this well. It seems that in knowing a bit about center, I should be centered, I'm centered, that we, in throwing that word in too fast, too early, we may not be allowing the character to get fuller in that situation, fuller character. Who, let's bring it in on the other side, who has a center and can feel his center, experience his center? But let's not bring in the word center too fast. I have a feeling in some cases, many cases, it interferes with the fullness of the character, and brought in too fast, it's not a full enough center. Did I say that okay? Sort of, kind of. Let me check with Brad. Brad? Yeah, okay. It was okay for Brad. It's okay for you guys. So, basics. I want to sort of start or even stay with the human condition of center and circle, character in a situation character. Okay. To facilitate better daily living, to facilitate sort of practicing. So when we go into finer of that pattern, you've got all your basics down. Okay. So don't shun the beginning form. Let's call it the grammar school form. If you don't have some decent grammar school, I don't know if you're going to be able to get through high school and continuing. If you don't have the basics in high school, I don't know if you're going to make it to the university. So don't put down the human level of things. We're humans. We're here. Situations are happening all the time. So learn to rise to the occasion. That's the character. Rise to the occasion. Okay. So I want to think on, have you flavor, again, this situation changes a bit, okay? Therefore, by law, the beats between those two, by law, energies are happening to facilitate the character being proper for that situation. Okay, that's the law. A big circle, the center will try to be balanced with it. Better center, better circle. So there's a harmonious law that's very original. But again, let's bring it back to the human condition. So situation and character. Help me before I say more stupid things.
It's sounding pretty good, Sensei.
So far? Okay. Yeah. Been a strange week here. No. I think if we should stand.
Sensei, can I ask something here?
Please.
You were talking about fullness, the fullness of character. Maybe before we do the standing, how would you suggest that that gets experienced? How do we experience a greater fullness or greater natural fullness of character?
The idea might be a beginning place, but no, continue. The vague first feeling of a character mixing up, I kind of like this word, mixing up a better, fuller character to be proper in that situation. As you get into finer sensing, that character is developing fuller and fuller. So it's not an idea you're too high. We need this is the stuff of creation. Also, this mix of a character infers the stuff of creation, not just the idea of creation, which of course has some stuff in it. But this is major stuff. Okay, we could say the idea has some experience, but the fuller of the experience has within it some knowledge about it. Okay, so that each have their major. Did I diverge with that? Okay.
Not at all. I think that's right on point.
Yeah. Okay. But I think the basics for those of you who are Aikidoists, let's see, Brad, can I borrow you? In a moment, I'll borrow Brad here. You can't see us on this one. Let's go out there for a moment. Okay. Dumb example. Here we go. Okay. Let's say in this situation that the character is mixing into that one. Now here's the problem. Like, I learned to do that. I do that. I learn and then I do it better. And say, no, let's play this game that because of this situation, the way Brad is setting up and the way Brad is moving in, that the character would naturally move into that. Okay. You're following me so far. Now we want a fuller character. So give me a moment. I like to stretch things out here. Later, you can be very fast and full, but let's stretch it out. In this situation, a better character, easy, fuller, sense of settling, opening, of course, a sense that there's more energies mixing. I'll use my words here, mixing and creating a fuller character, a fuller character. Okay. Not only was this front part pretty strong, but this back support part was pretty strong also. So not a full character would be the forward guy, okay? Not a full character. Fuller and fuller, easy, mixing up a better character. A fuller character, he feels more rounded, that the hips and things are turning. That's why this technique is getting better, because this character is fuller. Okay, so in this situation, this character. Okay, and just giving yourself time to play with the fuller of the character, the fuller. Okay, not, well, what should I learn to do? And should I go to the gym and exercise my arm? Don't control it. It's a law. Energies are trying to mix up better for this situation. And we're just playing a game that this is the proper system's reaction to that situational attack. Did I get anywhere with that teaser? Or did I muck it up?
No, I think that what you demonstrated in there was the whole system expressing, that when you were talking about experiencing the fuller of the back part, what I was seeing was your whole system was engaging. It felt like coherent. It was
the fuller of the system, the whole system. Yeah. And then as a After, instead of saying, I've got to be centered here, we pass on that, is what I'm presenting tonight. Because I think it can kind of screw some people up how they do it, their sense of it or something. But to get the fullness of the character, and then what I should have done right at the end there was say, this fuller character has a center and can experience that center. Now you can say, I am centered at this level. You can feel his center as the center of that fullness character. Oh, okay. So again, I'm presenting that I think in knowing I should be centered, that we potentially interfere with the fullness of the character. Okay, we put so much, I'm being centered. Okay. That we interfere with the fullness of the character, and thus the character situational relationship is interfered with a bit. Okay. And I can see this on the mat sometimes where the centered character, okay, or too much center a certain way, the character is separate from the situation. He's separate from uke. Something not quite there. Okay. I hope I'm saying all these things right. So let's get a fuller character first before we bring up the word centered or the experience of the center is what I'm trying to say. Don't know if I'm doing well. Continue the dialogue, please. Help. Teachers, you got anything more to say here?
Let's see.
Hi, Sensei. It's Dusty. I'll ask you something if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what, the last week that I was here, at least you were talking about the character and the self. So I work with that a little bit more. And I really found there's a lot of characters, a lot of how you can get really defined in a character. I'm just not going to be a good listener. I'm going to be a kind listener with empathy. So you could build it up, but so the fullness of the character, I feel like I've been practicing that. But just noticing how many characters there are all the time. Just driving with my daughter, I said, so I was getting about the time, well, I'm going to just pause and feel who I'm being, going inward. And then, I don't know, I guess I can build on that character. I don't know if I mean, right?
Yeah.
But,
if you continue with character in that form, you said it well, I won't remember your words. You were a listener, I think you said.
Yeah.
And then a kinder listener or something? Okay.
Then with more empathy.
So first, the character is mixing. And you say, okay, I'm not full yet, but what am I experiencing as character? Oh, better listener. Okay, let's get a little more. Let the character mix up even a bit more, a little bit fuller character. Better listener, but he's a kind or whatever listener. Oh, there's been something added to it. So yeah, that's I think a good pattern. When I do the techniques, for example, oh, that felt pretty good, but my back hip wasn't supporting me. Okay, I settle and I open, better mix of the character, and the back hip supports that. Good, settle and open, better character. And it mixes, and this character has the back foot supporting the hip, supporting the hand, whatever. So yeah, you kind of graduated that way. That's a good, simple practice form. Yeah.
It feels dynamic. It's interesting too, because I want to ask you one more thing, if that's okay. I had my yoga teacher's been talking about yoga or dynamic expansion. And it kind of reminds me of center and circle in some ways, like this, expanding out, but then also coming in to your center. And the whole process just feels dynamic, like it's a verb.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, thank you.
We may have shifted to another area, but yeah. One way to look at it in this case is the situation energies, could we say, move in towards the center character, or what will soon be a character, and go, hey, and the character suddenly responds because they're partners. The situation and the character, the circle and the center, they're partners.
Yeah.
Hey, and suddenly there's a fuller character there. So that in and back out beat is a natural beat. Early in creation, so it's still here. Hey, oh, hey, oh, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if we can catch how things work, we can ride along with it. We don't have to work as hard trying to recreate it or something. It's working. Let me just easy, and I jump in with how it's working. Kind of thing. Did I say that good? The sense I had was good. I don't know. Come on, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So how are we? Are we okay? I know we covered it, but it's been a while on situation. Okay, I had one. I'm kind of slow sometimes. I've never particularly liked standing in line. I kind of go, ugh. Okay, so there I am at the bank, which is a horrible bank. You always have to wait, and there's always a long line. So I thought, well, I'll go at a better hour where I don't expect too many people. I never go on a Monday. All the business guys are there with their endless amounts of coins and checks and whatever. Anyway, so I picked the time I thought would be better. And it wasn't particularly. So I'm standing in line going, wait, let me play with this. So in that situation that often annoys me, that should have told me something right there. Where's the energy to be annoyed coming from? What is that really? Okay. So I thought, well, I better play with this one. I've seen it before. I've experienced it before. So I did this pattern of situation and character. But I went a little deeper, a little more open, a little fuller, allowing the character. A little fuller, allowing the character. Well, within a couple of moments, a real calm character me was there. Pretty easy, pretty quick. And the depth of his calmness in a certain way surprised me. I don't know why it should have, but it did. It was really a deep, calm me in the bank in line. Oh, yes, of course. Why'd I miss that in the past? Anyway, so that's a kind of a basic situation is in reference to the character in reference to the situation. Natural law trying to go on. So once we learn how it works, we can work with it much easier and faster. I don't have to decide, well, who should I be here in this situation? I don't know. You trust the bigger pattern of things. You trust the harmonious laws of things. That it'll be, OSensei talked about, he didn't know what was going to happen. He just trusted because of this inherent intelligence, harmony, whatever that exists, that in playing with, working with, allowing the process, it should be much better. I don't have to think how it should be better. That's too slow. That's kind of dumb. Who's deciding? Bobby? How can Bobby make any decisions about who Robert should be, or definitely who Nadeau should be? It's stupid. Where are we? Help.
Sensei, this is Justin. I think this goes back to what you were sharing with us a few weeks ago about easing the eye. You know, once that I forget exactly how Tija framed it as a narrative. There's the narrative mind, or the storytelling about the things that we think are going on, really obstructs the situation and character relationship there. So that you're talking around it today, and you really were very anyway. I think this is a big piece too. As the eye is easy, then the situation invites sort of the character to manifest in its fullness. And we don't have to know what it is. It'll become evident through our experience, is what I wanted to say.
Yeah. For what good it does for anybody. Oh, Sensei, usually didn't know what was going on. People would fly, but he wasn't sure. Often after a demonstration, he would say to somebody, "How was it?" He wasn't that aware of what was working. He just trusted it would work harmoniously in a protective way, whatever, if that helps any. But yeah, anything easy the eye, more room, so that the better, larger, let's say larger, easy the eye, so there can be more room. So the larger sense of situation, the character and character to situation, has the stage to play on. So yeah, took 2 different nights and tied them together, I think. Here, yeah. Can't go wrong with easy the eye, and you can't go wrong with a little more room. And now tonight we're saying now in a little more room, whatever the situation's going on, a character is trying to be mixed, my words mixed, created to be equal to that situation. We have it in our language. He rose to the occasion. The situation happened, and this guy was there for it, and he handled it well. He did this fantastic thing. He was just click, click, click. We have all these stories. We have a lot of phrasing about that. Okay, so here we're just saying, well, this is how it works, and if you play with it, you can get very good at it, very fast eventually. It's a very fast potential. We have to be careful of that word at first, because people have a fast idea and they don't have the experience. So that's why we hang out. That's why I hang out and I move and play to make sure I'm getting some experience in there. Otherwise, it's going to be mental knowledge, but no real capability. You know, you can teach it, but you can't do it, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, Bob.
Yo.
Steve here. Yeah, no, your example was perfect. I was anticipating my sense of, something happens, a situation that I don't like, and I start bitching about it. And it's like, that's your cue to mix up the character better, which is exactly what you did.
Yeah. Yeah, we what should we say here? It's good when we catch our cues. My cue in the bank was, I'm starting to get bitchy about being in a line. Hey, that's a cue.
Yeah.
Okay? There had to be some energy trying to do something for me to start to get a little, okay? So whether you're getting bitchy or nervous or something, that should be your cue. So to recognize these things earlier so we can open to the process. Much faster. Yeah. Instead of being bitchy for an hour till you're exhausted being bitchy, and then you sort of start to catch on, hopefully. Why wait the hour? Let's be a little ahead of the game here or something. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Anything more to add on that?
No, that was a sentence. You just anticipated where my head was going with this whole thing and gave a perfect example.
Yeah. So anyway, to reiterate, in case you didn't hear it, I'm thinking in being too aware of being centered, that we throw that center in too fast, where it's a short center as opposed to a full center. Okay. And because it's a short center, you're interfering with the relationship of circle to center and center to circle, the full potential there. You've cut it in half, or at least, you just potentially interfered with it. But I'm playing this game here this week, what I'm trying to present is by being the fuller character first, and then registering the center that's there. So the fuller character has a center. Okay, so I'm trying to bring that word center in instead of this way. I'm centered, I got to be centered. we let it be the afterword. It comes in the other way, so to speak. We change the timing of it. I think that can be conducive. Conducive, that's a good word. For people doing this better, fuller, properly. That's about all I want to say tonight. Help.
Sensei, this is Liam.
I'm sorry.
This is Liam.
Liam, hi.
Hi. Just from what you're saying, just my feeling of that, like I'll feel, at least what you're talking about initially, that it's coming in through the back. And there's a kind of a permeableness, the fullness and permeable. Like I'm letting it. Well, first off, from what you're saying too, just keying in, where am I at right now? That feels really important, because if I try to say, oh, I'm this, it's not, then I'm already on the wrong track. I'm center. But if I'm letting in from my back, for me, that's where I feel that
Okay.
deeper center thing.
A back, letting in from the back could just be inferring, for example, because a tighter eye is kind of, if I were to physically show a tighter eye, I get frontal.
Mm-hmm.
I easy the eye, you can see it in here. It's starting to open up a bit back here. So that could just infer that by settling, opening up my back, it's already, the space is opening up. Already easy the eye is happening. Already things can more naturally work. So, yeah. Any particular example or character or anything we're talking about there?
Yeah, I guess I could say just before class started, there was some work going on downstairs of my unit, and just already kind of showing up. There's a construction truck. Things are moved, so I have to kind of park. I'm covering the sidewalk, and I'm already in that state of like, it's supposed to be this way, and I'm kind of grumpy. And what I missed in that chance, I could catch myself enough to then say to the guys who were doing the remodeling work downstairs, hey, next time, can you make sure to put the trash cans here just so I can park right? But I could have done more to kind of even go further to settle into myself, acknowledge where I'm at in terms of I'm grumpy because things are out of place, and then go and even just check in, see how they're doing first before I say.
Yeah, even a small change there. Because even in saying that, could you put the garbage cans over here or whatever? If there's a little still bitchy, grumpy in your voice, they'll catch that. And it'll be like, well, yeah, but screw you too.
Right, yeah.
But to be a fuller character who probably would have presented that with a different tonality or something, they'd catch that,
Mm-hmm.
And they'd respond better.
Yeah.
So yeah. So again, as we get better at this, we'll automatically do these things fuller. You just need a little practice, a little reminder kind of thing. That's what why I brought up the stupid bank story.
Right.
Yeah. Just that extra minute there. This is less than a minute. But this is an old problem of mine. I've never liked lines. In an airport, I approach being dangerous. But to take that extra minute and say, hey, come on. It was like, wow, the depth of this calm, this experience was like, surprised me a bit. Oh, he's really okay with this. Wow. He is, I am, whatever. Okay. Don't expect great things from me tonight. I'm my strange week. Dusty.
I have a question. Is the center feels like, is there a cleansing? Like
Is
a
there a
letting
what?
go and a
Cleansing?
cleansing to the circle part? Like,
They're related.
well, what's that?
They're related. They're partners.
Yeah. Okay. The partners. Yeah. Yeah.
See, originally, I'm going to go back far. There was one thing, okay? Whatever name you want to put on that, one thing. But to create, it had to move into two things. So that was part of its game plan. Oh, we need two things. So we can call the two things whatever you want to call them. The great he, the great she. The great yin, the great yang. The great idea, the great stuff. Whatever words you like. They just represent that one thing saying, I'd like to create whatever it said about this, and I have to do it in two pieces. Okay, and all the way down the line of the vortex, tighter and tighter, sex is still a big thing. I had a couple of doves in front of me today on my front porch. They were doing their thing. It's all the way down the line. He was chasing her around, and so two things in the attraction to each other. It's natural that they want to come together and harmonize. It's natural. It's based on an original, very original movement. So once we catch this and get the flavor of it, that should help us not work so hard. I've got to bring these two forces together. It's like, yeah, relax, easy, give them a little room. They want to get it on. The center to the circle and the circle to the center. They want to hold hands. They want to go on a date. They want to be nice with each other. Okay? But if we get too tight and interfere in whatever way we interfere, there's discord. And you feel it in your system. You're not at ease with yourself. You know, up to the point of hating yourself, kind of thing. It's like, whoa, that's a very tight place where that's happening, because really there is harmony, balance. Okay, whether you pick it up in a sense of an energy form or in a sound form, whatever. What we do is chants. You know, I presented the Ya-Yi Ma-Mi chant. What I say? I presented Ya-Yi as the center format, flowing out to the circle Ma-Mi, and the Ma-Mi responds back with its Ma-Mi, touches him, let's call him him, and he goes, whoa, and he responds back to her, and she responds back to him, and they keep going finer and finer in that response. So it's only hard work to get started for that first, minute or so to get started. After that, if we don't interfere too much, this is what it's trying to do. It's trying to unfold. It's trying to clarify. It's trying to show its harmony and its intelligence and its power and all that stuff.
Yeah. I like that originality that you said, like it's from the beginning. Yeah, that feels right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Mike.
Mike.
Indeed. Would you say that relationship is an essential element of character? In other words, the whole purpose of character is to provide an appropriate, I don't really want to use the word response, but will provide the right tools, whatever you want to call them, to be able to interact with whatever it is that you're needing to interact with.
There was something I skimmed in the paper today. I can't remember exactly, but it was on what you're saying. Something about, I can't remember, but something, I'll try to paraphrase it, to the effect that a person gains a lot by associating, being social, proper with other people. It was an article about what is happiness. And these guys at some university studied it for years and years and years and years, and came up with this relationship of a person to those around him, that leads to a happiness, a sense of whatever, okayness. I forget exactly. I just skimmed the article. I didn't really read it. But is that where you're heading?
Yes. Well, in listening to what you've been saying tonight, the issue of centering maybe being, as you say, we've been emphasizing that a little bit too early in the process. And my take on that is that to some extent, centering is quite a selfish, personal process. It isn't.
Yes, if it's done in a way that people just major in the center, and worse than that, they have a short center, let's say, okay? Short center. Then it's very sort of protective, okay? And often those height-centered people don't have as much social awareness, social relationships as they should, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. When I say I'm started off as a center major, I remember the times where I wasn't very social at all. I was busy trying to continue to develop this center. So in many ways, I wasn't social. I'm just catching up now. Okay.
Well, I can relate to that too. But it also then seems to me that even character itself can also be quite a selfish thing if it is just, well,
again, if he's small, he's an asshole.
And so
I tell you that. We were hobby.
You've got to have that relationship with the situation outside of yourself before you can produce the appropriate character, and the appropriate character can enable the appropriate center, in fact.
Again, yes, a better character will have a natural center for that size character, that level of development of character. His center should be in accordance to it. So I'm saying, play with that, because I think,
yes,
because I think in some cases the center word comes in too fast. The hanging on to being centered comes in too fast, and it sort of screws things up a little bit. For some people, a lot of people, I don't know, you all play with it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have noticed in training in particular that there is very often very little relationship between uke and nage. You know, they're both being polite and friendly to each other at some level, but when nage moves in to take control of the situation, if you like, there isn't a sense of them looking after uke.
Yeah.
It's like,
right. Yeah.
they're disconnected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a certain way, they don't care if you're ready, they're going to hit you with their technique. They don't care if you're new, they're going to show off how good they are at their technique, and on and on and on. Yes, yes, and yes, unfortunately. Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, the tightness, craziness, whatever, shouldn't surprise us, because again, this tightening of the vortex into heavier and heavier. Yeah. But just thank God within that is a opening to finer and finer and finer. Right here. Yeah. So we'll take advantage of that and that. Okay. And I think we'll ride the ride better. We'll try not to interfere with how it works. A couple of tricks to ride the ride better. A couple of tricks to lessen the interference. Yeah. Interference would be, okay, you got a Bobby set, and you're going to trade him in next level for Robert. But if you got Bobby trying to figure out, well, who should Robert be? Bobby's interfering with Robert being there. It sounds like Robert can't be there because Bobby's there trying to figure out what a better Bobby is. I tried to brilliantly show that example in saying you can't get pregnant if you're pregnant. Now, if you think that's brilliant, are you thinking? Nothing can get mixed and be created, or Robert, if Bobby is there. Okay. It's got to be a clearness, an openness, an allowing, a trust, whatever word you like. So the naturalness of things can happen. But if I don't trust it, if I'm not sure, it can't happen very well or at all. I'm interfering. So, yeah, and on and on. So one of the things we try to do here is present some basic tricks of the trade, because you'll need them all along the way. Okay, it's not just one level that all along the way, there'll be similar type of trick of the trade. Okay. So. Yeah. Help. Somebody out there?
Hi, Sensei, Bob here.
Hey, Bob.
I wanted to connect two things. You said when you were talking about the bank situation that, and I think maybe with some others, that it's only the first minute or two, whatever time it is, where it's difficult to bring these things together. After that, their natural inclination toward blending and harmony takes over. And Steve said, which I thought was really good, when you get that irritation factor very early on, that's your cue that something is happening. And so it's in that first couple minutes of irritation where you have to do the recognition of what's going on. And as soon as that happens, as soon as you recognize it in the way Steve just said, then that couple minutes melts away and you're on the road.
Yeah. And I hate that you're saying a couple of minutes. To me, that's already stretching it out too long.
Whatever amount of time it is, it's not very big.
Okay. Let's see if this OSensei story will do us anything here. Okay, so we're talking about what Steve's word was, what your word was, what my word was about the first sense of something.
Agitation.
Whatever. That we recognize it in a better way and work with it, utilize it, whatever. So this story fit. Sensei told me a story, trying to make a point. He's walking, he's got a class of, I guess they were military cadets. Anyway, that's how we refer to them, cadets. And he had been teaching them for a bit, but in class, basic stuff kind of thing. And some of them they heard he was great, of course, or whatever, and they wanted to check him out. So out of this big group, about 15 of them, thought they would surprise attack him out of the blue. Okay. So he's walking down the street, going to the cadet school, and he gets a little surge of energy. Just a bit. Okay. Not knowing what's up or anything, just a surge of energy. So I'd say now that clued him in. There's something going on. So he did his process, boom, bang, and then suddenly there's all these guys coming at him from the alleyway, unexpected and all of that. And he said, but he said it was like, again, with the sense that he really didn't know what was going on, but he said it was a sense of they were running around him and flying through the air. The point I'm trying to make is I talked about getting bitchy in line, okay, and somebody else used another word for whatever. And I'm trying to say that, look at, here's OSensei's catch. He starts to feel extra energy happening and started a process right then, okay? And then boom, here's all these guys rushing at him. Does that sort of fit into anything? Maybe I'll bring the story up in a different context another day, but I think some of you like those sensei stories.
Sensei, it's Justin. I say it can be even a game we play with ourselves in our day. Like, how much earlier today will I notice the feedback that's coming my way? Am I going to wait till my knuckles are white on the steering wheel? That's way too late. How much earlier today might I notice that if I'm in a conversation, I have a restless leg? Well, that's a sign that a fuller character might be useful here, some room, etc. How much earlier can I catch on to that feedback?
Yeah.
It's a fun game. I'm just.
Yeah. See, people, I love this guy. Why? He plays every day. He mugs on different games he could play to develop this. I think that's cool. I like that. That's sort of my thing too. So you can play a game.
It's not just for me, Sensei. If I'm explaining this, trying to walk a client through it who's having anxiety, they don't know anything about Aikido or yin or yang. How do I package this stuff in a way that somebody else can also experience it for themselves at some level, whatever that's going to be?
Yeah.
So we make these little games, as you've also demonstrated. So I take a page out of your book, to say the least.
Yeah. I make up words that I think can fit in and whatever. Yeah. And what are you going to do? Talk Japanese to them? Oh, yeah, we call that nani nani boo poo. Anyway, so I had something I wanted to say there. So a game could be where say at the beginning of the day, where I would like to pick up the first of any kind of annoyance. Could I use that word, annoyance? I'd like to feel my first trigger of annoyance. Doesn't have to be a major, not son of a bitch, but just that first little trigger. And see if during the day little triggers show, at which time we can play. Easy. Something about the situation, and there's a character equal to it. Easy character. To pick up things that you hadn't realized before were irritations, right? Or were something happening. So playing the game of, I'd like to feel even the first smaller presence of that. It could be a fun game. I could blow a day easy just funning around with that. All right. And then maybe you get at a finer level where you're like, oh, sensei, and suddenly, ooh, a lot of energy's around, huh? Boom, bang, and suddenly something's happening. And he's got it already. It's covered. It's taken care of. So yeah, play games, fun around. Yeah. Well, how are we doing out there? No great insights.
Hi, Sensei, Bob again.
Hey, Bob.
I got a story that kind of illustrates the point you were making. Famous anthropologist named Edward Hall, he actually coined the term nonverbal communication and wrote a famous book called The Silent Language about it. But he told this story about a friend of his who was a psychiatrist, worked in a mental hospital in New Mexico. And he gotten beaten fairly badly a couple times by clients going off on him during his therapy session. So he's trying to figure out how to avoid that happening again.
Yeah.
What he came up with was he put his hand on his pulse while he was doing therapy. And if his pulse started to pick up, he knew
they were going to come in.
That's right. Before anything else, his pulse picked up, and that clued him in.
Yeah.
You're talking about something.
An OSensei example was that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, your sensei can do it. Check your pulse. You know?
Anyway, I thought it was kind of a cute story.
Yeah, it is. It is, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cute one. I'm going to fade here. Nope.
Sensei, it's Autumn. I was curious. So when you're opening to the situation, which feels a little bit like opening to the space, and you're allowing the character to emerge, sometimes like the self and the character need balancing, right? There's something there.
So, oh, okay, you're a little ahead of us. Yeah, let's go back again, okay, and bring me back to this point. When you said open to the situation, right? I'm not sure. Let's see if the word open to the situation, as if I'm inviting it. I think at first, anyway, I think maybe just recognition that, ooh, it's situation's changing. Ooh, there's an attacker here. Whoa. Or a guy giving me the eye a certain way. I think he's going to make a move on me. Okay. So I'm just worried about the sense of being open to and that kind of thing. So I just want to say, yeah, notice it, whatever, register it, but not sure how you use the open or how people heard the word open is all I'm saying. Now, you're bringing in the self here. Well, we know it's here. I didn't want to necessarily get into that piece of it. I just wanted to work the character alone. Okay. But we know, you and I know, that present underlying the character is self. Okay. And I'm not sure what to say right now about that. I just wanted to stay with character, character development.
Okay, so as like I had a couple auditions this week, and a lot of them had a lot of pressure, and I would get either kind of obviously sort of pushed in one direction or the other to like kind of follow an impulse that was maybe bigger than I had opened to the situation of, or sorry, what word did you use? Not open, but recognize the situation to be. And that character didn't have enough time to adjust as I was kind of moving through the lines and doing that impulse that I thought was perhaps coming from self.
Okay, let's lay this out for the truth and for me a little clearer. So there you are, audition. Yeah?
Yeah.
They present a situation to you, right? Is that okay so far?
Yeah. Well, right. There's a situation in the play, and then there's the situation of the audition.
I didn't hear the last phrase.
There's a situation of the play, and then there's the situation of the audition as well, right?
Oh.
Not to confuse them.
Well, first, I don't know. Don't we first have to get the character before we can check how the character's touching the audience?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't see again. Won't I interfere with the fuller, proper character if I'm not spending any time there, let's say, and I'm worried about how I'm going to present to the audience when I don't have a character? Is that not confusing in my system?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where are we? Bring me up to date here. I get lost along the way.
Yeah, I'm with you, I think. So recognition of the situation, and then there's a moment that you really have to get in touch with the character first before you worry about how it's moving anybody else or how it's affecting anybody else, is kind of where we're at. But there's also, I was getting, I think, bumped out by both the pressure and the next steps of kind of the impulses that were coming in.
Okay, hold it there. Let's go over that piece there. Are you saying that, okay, here's the situation or the scene, and now you need a character, okay?
Yeah.
It's characters time. Are you saying that in opening to the character, so I use my words, so the character can get mixed, right there you were pushed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it hadn't had enough time
Enough
or
room
and maybe enough experience, because that
and
would have
practice,
been
yes.
right. That would have been baseline.
Let's say the character that was forming was maybe twice as big as what you expected. So of course you're going to get pushed. So that's where you have to practice.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, boom. And pretty full character doesn't mean she's perfect. She might need a little cleaning up the edges, but basically she's kind of there. You can get that good. Okay. Wasn't there a little story about, I think I mentioned it once on a Friday night, I don't know. Anyway, a story about Japanese actor, Mifune, the actor. And he was at a party, and I don't know, something came up where they asked him to show a character. And he'd like turn around, and in a moment turned back, and he's already looking different. Mannerisms were, everything was different. The whole vibe was different. And somebody else threw out another character. He turned around, boom. Somebody's got the second character in full bloom. Bang, 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 bang. He did quite a few. And each one was different and proper, and wow. He sort of amazed them, but that's a pro. And with a little practice, there you are.
We're working on it.
Well, again, you kind of know how it works, that you need more room, so that'll be part of your thing. And a real open, it's trust, because you said, is that the right character? And you start to interfere, it can't grow because you're staring at it to death, kind of thing, you know. So with a little practice of that's those are fun games. I do that kind of stuff a lot. Just practice with dumb stuff, okay. Which is really great stuff because it's how things work. So yeah, to practice so you get fuller, faster, allow more in that moment. Stuff like that. So, and that's right up your alley.
Love it. Thank you.
Now, where are we? Yeah. Now, remember, yourself is aligned pretty well and interested in the line of work you're in. So you could be getting an extra zap of energy because of that presence of self. But again, if that's so, then in this opening, and maybe you would want to include the self and the character that the self is allowing, facilitating to be more fully present. So you open a bit more, inferring a finer dimension when you use the word or sense of self. That might facilitate. I don't know if I said that well.
Can you say it again? Sorry, it's really complex.
Okay, you got a character. Behind or underlying the character is a self, okay? The character has a certain amount of energy, okay? Bobby even has a certain amount of energy. Robert has a bit more energy. So our personal, and when we play this game, our character as energy. Okay. But in your case, because yourself is very interested in this line of work that you're into, possibly the self is there, but the self has its own plus energy, and it's more than down the line. It's more. Okay.
Right.
That's why I try to have people use this for healing, to get a sense of self present, because it's very alive its way, and it facilitates the energy body of a human that's there, the physical body of a human that's there. It facilitates, even though the energy body, human body have their own, or energy, whatever, their own amount of energy. By the self being there, I think facilitates and doubles up, so to speak. Charges it more.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite difficult to ground sometimes, but that might just be sitting with the experience even more.
Yeah, and keep working on your opening and the depth of the opening. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See this picture? Can you see this picture? Katja did it. I didn't explain what I wanted, but really, I'd like to put him down much lower to reference more the ground effect. Putting him up high, I'm afraid people would be more in the idea part. So I use that and this. So in opening mode, excuse me. I'm practicing dying here. Yeah, so more open, deeper roots. So you get used to the bigger size. You get used to the more energy that's going to be present, so it doesn't blow you over or throw you off. Just practice. It's kind of like bodybuilding, 10 pounds is it. You can't do 20, impossible. But you do 20 and an ounce and 21, and then after a bit, you're up to whatever.
One of the things I find interesting about practice, and this is obviously something that can happen in like rehearsal, right? But like just sitting and doing the meditation, the character is quite gentle. The self and the character interaction is quite relaxed. But when I'm working on Shakespeare, it's really big, right? So getting used to that and making sure that the situation is accurate, or like creating that situation to be accurate, right? I think.
I missed part of that.
It's okay. All right.
Bob, say what she said. I think my hearing's going. Don't tell my wife, she'll make me get hearing aids. Yeah.
That the meditative practice is kind of relaxed and easy, and then you get into something big like Shakespeare, and the energy level is much bigger. But of course, you can call that up as a practice too, and say, okay, now I'm going to practice Shakespeare.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back. Say that first part again. The meditation, the sitting and settling. We're talking there? Bob?
Yes.
Bear with me here. Okay. So we're just doing some kind of aspect of easy, settle, open, but we're not really overtly opening to a character, right? We're
Right. That's what it sounded like. Yes.
Kind of easy. Maybe we're laying the open groundwork so that there's room for a character to be there, kind of thing. So if you were inferring that easy should have helped in a certain way, but not in the way directly with the character. It's maybe a preset, something that facilitates. You're opening more, you're settling more. Okay. But there's no character yet. But because you've done a good job in opening, the fullness of the character will come up faster, fuller, better. Is that am I following anything you said there, or did I go off track?
Yeah, and where tonight comes in, catching the sticky bits, that the harder, like the pressure or the feeling that I have to do it right, or the nerves when those come in, that like the second that happens physically or however, that's an opportunity to open more.
Yeah. And be careful of, I got to double check to see if I'm doing it right. Could become an interference. Got to be a little careful there how you do that.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
if the character's just beginning to form and maybe has a few speaking words here at first, and you throw those out too fast and you're checking to see what they sound like, I think it's too early. You're checking. Yeah. So come up with a dumb story. It's like checking a lady who's 1 month pregnant as to what the sex of her baby is. I don't think they can do that yet. It's too early. So what are we checking? Dumb example. Sorry, that's me. That's where the words trust come in and other Keisha, give me all those words. Trust and
Well, trust is certainly one of them.
give me all the others. Come on, you can do it.
Well, let's see. What else could we say? Faith in the universe, trust in the universe, the unfolding of the principles of the universe.
Oh, stop! Don't go there. Get off my program here. I wanted something simple, like allowing.
I'm staying. So.
Allowing, trusting, whatever. It'll be proper. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we also have to understand here that the same this kind of process, that there is natural intelligence in all of this. We use the words energy or energy mixing or stuff, but within that is intelligence. Okay. Yeah. And as we get better at realizing, because it happens over and over again kind of thing, then we're probably less apt to check and see if it's right. We trust the inherent intelligence of it. Again, so we stop looking at it, interfering in any way with it. We trust it. Well, Sensei used many different phrases to say that. But it's like he would set it up, let's say, set it up to happen, but then he didn't interfere with the happening. It would just happen. Okay. And often he didn't know what happened. Yeah. Even telling me the cadet story, he says, people ask me, whatever, how I did that or something. He said, and certainly I'm not sure. It to me, it felt like they were running around me and flying through the air. So we had to make up stories to make people who asked him the question happy, but he didn't really know. All right. You trust the intelligence and the harmony and the whatever of this stuff. And maybe at first that's not easy to do. Bobby is still here trying to check things out, whatever. But with practice. And then some things that give you some feedback. How do I know I'm opening? I don't know. Let me check. Easy. And I register that sound, that vibration. Okay. Yeah. Easy, settle, a little deeper, easy, open in the world of vibrations or chant or something, easy. And the next level of that, easy. I don't know what you can hear over there, but much different here. Okay, not perfect. I started a little high with it, but it went on longer and resonated a bit different. The vibrational rate was finer. So I'm getting feedback that I'm settled more, that I open more. I could just hear it. Okay. Or I have a good uke and I do my move and then I settle and I open and then move. And I say to him, "How was that better?" And that's why I love to have a good uke, because he can feel and say, "Yes, it was better. I felt the energy from your hips much more." "Oh, great. Thank you." Easy, settle, open. One more time, that same thing. Boom. "How was that one?" And they'll say, "You lost it a bit." "Oh, okay." And hit it again. Boom. And so I like a good uke who can really tell me what they're feeling. Okay. By the way, I hate ukes who think for me. What good does it do me if you're going to jump up in the air with bullshit? Make sensei look good. Don't do that. We need the feedback. Okay. I don't know if I helped Autumn, but whatever. Feel free to come back at me again. But again, it's sort of like exercise. In fact, this part we're talking about, this OSensei refers to sometimes as a gymnasium. The actual experience allowing of these energies. Okay. And I thought it's not a bad word. Okay. Exercise. Somebody. Whoa.
Good
We
evening,
had a long
Sensei.
time. Good. Huh?
Good evening. This is Lauren.
Lauren,
I was late arriving, so
are you back home?
I am.
Hmm.
Good evening.
Have a good trip?
Yes, I did. Thank you. A wonderful trip, actually.
Good.
I saw many old friends and old colleagues. So it was actually a wonderful trip.
Hmm.
But tonight, I wanted to ask if we could add to this mix that you have here ground, because when I'm on the mat and I feel and go through a process of centering and the circle emerges, I also feel what word I call ground or grounded. There's enormous ground and stability.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could speak to that.
No, it's just there's a sense of deeper with the center. OSensei referred to it with the word roots. For me, he brought up that word over and over again. Roots infers this deeper. So the first ground, if I use that one, is the tangible grounds. That I can feel and hear, that ground. But as I open and do this deeper opening, the sense of ground, so even right now, just funning around, feels like not that wood floor. I'm aware of that, but there's a sense of passing through that. And I'd say, I don't know, at least 6 inches past the wood floor is my sense. So yeah, ground is a depth reference that can be utilized all the way along the line. Yeah. And don't stop at any one level, because the next level, the ground has a sense of deeper. Yeah.
I guess what I'm feeling is that circle center, creates groundedness. They seem to flow once they start going and the two beats are going, ground appears, maybe is a way to articulate it, that they seem to build on each other. So,
okay, this size circle would have this level ground, let's say whatever this level is, okay? Easy, more earlier, more original circle, a little bit bigger. Oh, yeah, a little bit bigger. And its center ground, this feels dumb to do. It's like, no, that's not right. It feels more like that, a floor level at least. Boom. So they stay in relationship.
yeah.
Yeah, they're partners. They want to stay in relationship. So it's a matter of partaking of that happening and allowing that relationship.
But,
And by throwing the character in there, you get some feedback as to the improvement of the character because the relationship of center, circle, circle, center is better. So yeah.
yeah.
That's why, again, we can't stay in an eye level because in a certain way, there's not enough room. Well, the tight eye person could be aware of these words of space and center and all of that, but ain't nothing going on here, really. Not really. Tiny bit, maybe. Okay. But the eye, so there's more room. So this is an actual experience. And blah, blah, blah. Same old words. People, we're running out of time. Do I want to take next Friday off?
You are certainly welcome to, Sensei.
Yeah. Let's take next Friday off, just cause. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for being
Sensei.
here. Hope you got something out of this. I know it was kind of basic, but I thought that turnaround again, not throwing the tight center in too fast to get the character, and character will catch its own center. That was a